सर्वेषां नमस्कारः, सुप्रभातम्।
नमस्कारः।
अस्तु, तर्हि प्रारम्भं कुर्मः।
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Guru.
सुप्रभातं, सुप्रभातम्। अस्तु, श्लोकम् उक्त्वा प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं,
पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं,
वदामि संस्कृतं सदा,
वदामि संस्कृतं सदा,
ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक्,
ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
संस्कृतस्य प्रसाराय,
संस्कृतस्य प्रसाराय
नैजं सर्वं ददाम्यहम्,
नैवं सर्वं ददाम्यहम्,
संस्कृतस्य सदा भक्तो,
संस्कृतस्य सदा भक्तो,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
संस्कृतस्य कृते जीवन्,
संस्कृतस्य कृते जीवन्,
संस्कृतस्य कृते यजन्,
संस्कृतस्य कृते यजन्,
आत्मानमाहुतं मन्ये,
आत्मानमाहुतं मन्ये,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्,
वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्।
उत्तमम्। गत परिचयवर्गे वयम् अन्वयक्रमं दृष्टवन्तः। कूज्यन्तं राम रामेति इति एकश्लोकं स्वीकृत्य वयम् अन्वयरचनां कृतवन्तः। प्रायः अहं चिन्तयामि प्रथम अध्यायः तु समाप्तः खलु। परिचयपुस्तके प्रथम अध्यायः समाप्तः इति मन्ये। तत्र इतोपि एकं श्लोकम् इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवः इति अस्ति। तत् किञ्चित् प्रयत्नं कुर्मः अद्य। अनन्तरम् अग्रिम अध्यायं प्रति गच्छामः। तत्र एव एतत् पुटे अस्ति, इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवः रामो नाम जनैश्रुतः। 19 पुटे अस्ति, पश्यन्तु। इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवः इदानीं तत् श्लोकं किञ्चित् पश्यामः। इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवो रामो नाम जनैश्रुतः, नियतात्मा महावीर्यो द्युतिमान् धृतिमान् वशी इति श्लोकः। साक्षात् वाल्मीकि रामायणात् एव एषः श्लोकः आगच्छति। वाल्मीकि रामायणे महर्षि वाल्मीकिः अस्ति, देवर्षि नारदः अस्ति, तयोः सम्भाषणं भवति। तदा वाल्मीकि महर्षि देवर्षिं पृच्छति, कृपया वदतु कस्य एतादृश गुणपरिपूर्णं कस्य समीपे अस्ति इति वाल्मीकि महर्षि पृच्छति। तदा देवर्षि नारदः उत्तरं वदति। सो उत्तरभागे एतदेव द्वितीयश्लोकः, अतः ते एतद् दत्तवन्तः। सो प्रथमश्लोकः गुणविषये एषः श्लोकः एव प्रथमश्लोकः। So it is like this, okay. The very beginning of Valmiki Ramayana, in the Balakanta, Valmiki Maharishi will speak about 16 auspicious qualities of Bhagavan Sri Rama and ask, like, who is the person who has these 16 qualities. All right. So after that, there is one sloka where Devarishi Narada responds. Actually, it's a very, very beautiful situation where Devarishi Narada will be like, he will just take a pause and he will say, there is a person. I will attempt to answer. Kind of, he will think for a minute and then he will say. Okay. So that is interpreted by our acharyas very, very beautifully. It is a very bhavatmaka vishaya. So I will share that before going into this. Of course, that's not part of your parichaya, but it's a wonderful thing to miss out. Okay. So what happens here is my acharya used to give an example for us to understand this context. It is like a child is, they are in a joint family, and the parents are now getting transferred. So they are taking their little kid along with them to whichever location they are getting transferred to. Now the grandparents were also there, from the time the baby was conceived. They've been like expecting the baby, and now the baby is at home. And they are like, oh my God, they're going to take the baby with them. We can't be without the child at home, So they're saying, like, we will take care of the child. You can leave them here. Possibly, you could meet them in the weekend, something like that. Both of you are working. How will you manage and all that? But then it's difficult for the parents also. So they decide to take the baby with them. So now the grandparents are like, oh, whenever they see anything, they're like, oh my God, the baby used to run here. Oh, this is the favorite food of the baby. This is what he used to do at his free time. So every single act that happens at home, they connect it back to the baby. Sometimes they are like, a little sad about missing the baby. Any topic that comes up, they connect it back to the child. Everything happens. Okay. Now, my acharya was connecting this incident to Narada's mindset. So, Brahmadeva has explained about the entire Ramayana to Bhagavan Sri Rama. So, Narada Maharishi has been contemplating on all those beautiful qualities of Rama, that he is like, oh my God, Rama, oh my God, Rama. That kind of a feeling is there in Rama. Now, Valmiki Maharishi is asking about the qualities of Rama. Now, Devarishi Narada should respond, but he's like, okay, let me first get back to my own situation, before I respond. So it is like, suppose a guest comes to the old people's house now, and he's asking, so last time I came, your little grandson was there. Where is the child now? So they are like, feeling so touched because of it. They're like, yeah. He's fine. He's fine. You look so sad. Something is wrong. No. Everything is fine. So they're just, bringing themselves together before answering. So that was the plight of Maharishi, Devarishi Narada. He had to, gather himself before he responded. So that was the sloka prior to this, where Devarishi Narada says, oh, he's filled with auspicious qualities. Let me understand and tell you. So he's taking a pause in the previous sloka, and only from this sloka, he actually starts to explain the qualities of Bhagavan Rama. So that is how it is structured. This comes in the very first adhyaya of Valmiki Ramayana. Soon after the questions of Valmiki Maharishi is over, the next question, where Devrishi Narada says that I got it straight from Brahma. Now I'm transferring that knowledge to you. So that pause happens prior to this sloka. And this is when Devrishi Narada actually starts explaining the qualities. And these qualities are attributed as all the divine qualities of Bhagavan Sri Rama. So they equate this to the qualities of the Parabrahma itself. So every word in it can have one Laukika meaning and one, Adhyatmika meaning. So everything is got multiple meanings, multiple Arthagambhiryam bhavati. Adhyatmarityapi arthaha bhavati. Ataha, two different meanings are basic, at least two meanings are there. There are multiple meanings, but they give at least two of these beautiful meanings to every word in this particular sloka. We will understand at a very, very general level, but the context makes it a very rich experience, basically. Yeah. So, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavo Ramo Nama Janai Shrutah Niyatatma Mahaviryo Dyutiman Dhritiman Vashi. Okay. Now, can you all attempt to do the pada vibhagaha? How will it be? Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavo. What will happen to it?
Prabhavaha.
Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha. Ramo will mean?
Rama.
Ramaha. Ramaha. Nama, nothing will happen. It will be Nama only. Ramaha. Nama. Janaihi.
Shrutaha will remain same.
Janaihi.
Ramaha.
Shrutaha. Ramaha. Nama. Janaihi. Shrutaha. Okay. Then
Niyatatma will remain same.
Niyatatma remains the same.
Mahaviryo.
Mahaviryaha. Mahaviryaha. Dyutiman. Yes.
Dhritiman Vashi.
Vashi. Dyutiman. Dhritiman. Vashi. So, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha. Ramaha. Nama. Janaihi. Shrutaha. Niyatatma. Mahaviryaha. Dyutiman. Dhritiman. Vashi. Uttamam. Now, try to identify each of the word. How will each of this, translate grammatically? Let us look into that. So, which is the Kriya Padam to start with?
Shrutaha.
Shutaha.
No, it's only implied, I think, in this month.
Prabhavaha.
No, it will
No, no.
Shrutaha is one Kriya Padam and Asit. Asit is implied.
Asit is implied only.
Shrutaha only.
So here we can use abut. Abuyata will be the proper thing. We've not learned that, but just assume that Kriya Padam is implied, as you rightly said. Okay. So let us go into
Vashi.
Vashi is not a Kriya Padam. Vashi also has qualities of Rama.
Yeah. Let us go into okay. Now it is all explaining about Bhagavan Sri Rama, right? So how will you go about? What will be your first question?
Who is Rama?
Samskrite prayatnam karotu.
Idrisha Rama. Idrisha Rama.
Kasya naam Ramaha.
Kaha Rama.
The adjectives are used for Rama, so it could be Kidrisha Rama.
So before we go into the adjectives, first we have to come to Rama itself, right?
The one who belongs to this Vansha.
No, people have heard about Rama. So what will be our first question?
Who is Rama?
Kaihi Shrutaha, Janaihi Shrutaha.
Very nice, very nice. So first of all, even before Kaihi Shrutaha, you should ask what happened, right? So that is when you will say Shrutaha. So what happened? Abuyata will be the instead of Asit, here it will be Abuyata. What happened? Kind of a question. So Kim Abuyata Shrutaha. Kim Shrutaha. So Nama Shrutaha. Kaha Namaha. Kaha Nama Shrutaha.
Ramasya Namaha.
Rama Namaha.
There is the iti, right? So Ramaha Nama Shrutaha. Here Nama is equivalent to iti. So named as we say, right? So it is equivalent to iti here. It is not name as a name. It is like as Rama. So Rama iti Shrutaha. Rama Nama Shrutaha. So Nama here is used in the place of iti. So Rama Nama Shrutaha. Astu. How will you go ahead?
Kaha Rama Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Rama.
So Kaha. Okay. So till now what we've done, Ramaha Nama Shrutaha. So now is the question which you asked earlier. What kind of Rama? What kind of
Kidrisha Ramaha.
Kidrishaha Ramaha. So Kidrishaha Ramaha. Now, before you go on to this step, okay, you remember we did the grouping earlier of what all are the similar vibhakti, vachana. So can you do the grouping like that first? So what all will belong? Only then you will know what all can be answered with the Kidrisha question.
Niyatma,
Niyatatma,
Mahavirya.
Try to group it based on Linga, Vachana, Vibhakti. All the Linga, Vachana, Vibhakti should be grouped together.
Dhritiman.
Yeah, group all that together. Then we will see what all belongs to the same category. Take a minute or two. You can try to group it first.
Janaiha Shrutaha Bahuvachan.
So what all are the adjectives? We are looking at the Visheshana.
Niyatma,
Mahaviryo,
Dhritiman, Vashi.
Dhritiman, Vashi.
Okay, so let us go into the specifics of each of this now. Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha. So what is the
Akaranta.
Pullinga.
Ekavachana.
Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. Uttamam, Samyak. So Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhava Shabda. It is Pullingam, Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. Uttamam.
Ramaha also will come under that.
Same thing.
Ramaha also is Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. Uttamam. Nama, we have not learnt about Nama. It is Naman Shabda. So it is Nakaranta Napumsakalingaha. Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. It is Naman Nakaranta.
Jana.
Janaihi is Bahuvachan.
Bahuvachan.
What Bahuvachan?
Jana.
Prathama Vibhakti.
Akaranta.
No.
Tritiya Vibhakti Janaihi. Ramaihi.
Tritiya Vibhakti Bahuvachana Rupam. Uttamam. Panditaha. Samyakeva. Jana. So it is Tritiya Vibhakti Bahuvachana Rupam. Jana Shabdasya. Is everybody following? I don't want to rush in this. Take your time, understand and do it.
Can you repeat Janaha?
Jana is Tritiya Vibhakti Bahuvachana Rupam.
Janaihi.
Ramaha.
It's like Ramaihi. Janaihi. Okay. Shrutaha.
Ramaihi.
Shrutaha is the Kriya Padam.
Shrutaha.
Shrunu, but here to hear is the Shrutaha.
Heard. Is heard.
It is also
Well-known.
Ekavachanameva. Shrutaha.
Shrutaha is well known.
They have heard about it, well known. Yes. Shrutam. Here it is not used.
To hear.
Yeah, here it is not used as a verb.
It's not a verb here.
Ramanam.
Okay. Niyatatma.
Akaranta. Strilinga. Ekavachana.
No.
Niyatatma.
Okay.
Saptami Ekavachana. Akaranta is Strilinga.
Okay. Now, Niyatatma is actually Niyata Atma. Niyata Atma. Niyata means it's steady. So steady-minded person, he's very steady in his nature. So Niyata Atman. Now, Atman is Nakaranta.
And it is Nakaranta Napumsakalinga.
Linga.
It can be Pullinga Napumsakalinga. There is a possibility there. So
comes
Pullinga,
under Naman.
Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam.
Comes under Naman. Nama.
Niyatatman will be the Shabda. Niyatatman will be the Shabda. So Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. We will take it as Pullinga itself at this point of time. But there is a possibility of Napumsakalinga also. Okay. So Mahaviryaha.
Akaranta
Pullinga. Pullingah.
Mahavirya. Pratama vibhakti ekavachana roopam eva.
Vibhakti. Ramah Mahaviryah.
Very nice. So
Ravina Guru,
yeah.
in this, why are we using for Janaihi? Why are we using Tritiya Vibhakti? See, Tritiya Vibhakti we use when we do using something or along with, right?
Yeah, because he is addressed by the people this way, right? So who is addressing Bhagavan Rama? It is by the people. So here people is used in the Tritiya Vibhakti. Janaihi Shrutaha. Kena Shrutaha? Janaihi Shrutaha. Kalu.
Guru Mahaviryah will be pulling Prathama Vibhakti and
Ekavachana Roopam. Satyam.
And Pullinga or Napunsakalinga?
Pullinga. So Mahavirya, for you to understand, it is Mahat Shabda. Mahat Virya will become Mahavirya. So Mahat we'll use in so many contexts, like, Mahabharata. It is Mahat plus Bharatam, Mahabharatam. Kavya, Kalidasa's Raghuvamsha we've been seeing, right? Mahat Kavyam, Mahakavyam. So that kind of usage will be there. Mahati Devi, Mahadevi. Mahan Kavihi, Mahakavihi. So those kind of usages will be there. Okay. So let us look at Dyutiman. What is Dyutiman?
Dyutiman. It's again Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachan, Pullinga, Akarant.
Okay. It is actually Takaranta. Dyutimat will be the Shabda for this. But what you said otherwise is correct. It is Pullinga, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachana Rupam. Dhritiman will be Dhritimat.
Same as Dyutiman.
Yeah, Dhritimat. Vashi is Vashin Shabda. That is also Pullinga, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachana Rupam. Now try to group all the Visheshanas which are in the same Vibhakti Vachana and Linga.
Niyatatma Mahaviryaha Dyutiman
Vashi.
What about Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhava? So we have 6 different Visheshanams. 6 different Visheshanams.
Yeah. Visheshanani.
Okay, so now let us ask the Kidrishaha Ramaha Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Ramaha. Punaha Kidrishaha Ramaha Niyatatma Ramaha. Punaha Kidrishaha Ramaha Mahaviryaha Ramaha. Punaha Kidrishaha Ramaha Dyutiman Ramaha. Punaha Kidrishaha Ramaha Dhritiman Ramaha. Punaha Kidrishaha Ramaha Vashi Ramaha. So Kaihi प्रत्येकमपि अहं विवरणं करोमि तर्हि कैः श्रुतः अभूयत जनैः श्रुतः अभूयत so what will be the अन्वय क्रम now जनैः इक्ष्वाकु वंश प्रभवः नियतात्मा महावीर्यः द्युतिमान् धृतिमान् वशी रामः नाम means iti श्रुतः अभूयत. Okay, so that is how we understand the whole thing. So what will be the meaning? Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha. So Bhagavan Rama was born in the race of Ikshvaku. Ramaha. Rama, the name itself, Ramayati iti Ramaha, one who delights everybody. Rama Nama. Nama means iti. Janaihi, by the people. Shrutaha, so he's heard, he's popular. Niyatatma, I explained earlier, one who has a steady mind. Mahaviryaha. So one who has got incomprehensible power. Mahavira. Dyutiman. The Dyuti is like, a lot of effulgence, brightness is there in him. Dhritiman is like, Dhriti,
Courageous.
courage, yes. So he is very courageous. Dyutiman, Dhritiman. Vashi is, he has complete control of his senses and the senses of his people also. So he can have his entire subjects under his control. That is also a way to look at it. So let us look at, whenever we are doing this kind of learning experience, it is a very good idea to look at what is the parichaya pada. Parichaya pada is simple synonyms which can communicate the same meaning in Sanskritam itself. So understanding it in English, as we know, has a lot of limitations. So we will look at the parichaya pada. So niyatatma, mano nigrahavan. Tasya manasya nigraham kritavan kalu. Ataha mano nigrahavan. Mahaviraha, paramaviraha. Dyutiman, kantiman. Dhritiman, dhiraha iti uchyate. Vashi, jitendriyaha. Indriyaha janati kalu. Jitendriyaha ityukte indriyasya jayam yaha praptavan saha jitendriyaha. Tarhi vashi ityukte indriya nigraha kena kritam. Ataha vashi. Ikshvaku vamsha prabhavaha. Ikshvaku kule jataha. Ramaha nama. Ramaha iti janaihi manavaihi. Manavaihi ityukte manushya. Manavaihi shrutaha. Prasiddham praptaha. Nyataha. Avagachati va? Etadrisham pratipadasya vivaranam yada vayam kurmaha tada asmakam samskrita vakya prayogaha api adhigam bhavati tatparyam vaktum api saralam bhavati. So finally, when you have to summarize in your own words, when you write the synonyms like this, it becomes so much easier. Okay.
Guru, Janaihi is Tritiya Vibhakti and Bahuvachanam. Ling, what ling it will be?
Pullinga.
Pullinga.
Janaihi.
Pullinga.
Pullinga.
So we can basically start it like Kaihi Shutaha. Shutaha we know, heard. Okay. Kaihi Shutaha, Janaihi Shutaha. Janaihi Kim Shutaha? Ramaha Nama Janaihi Shutaha. So that will be an easier way for us to start as well. After that, you will just add all the Visheshanams and complete the sentence. Janaihi Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Niyatatmaha Mahaviryaha Dyutiman Dhritiman Vashi Ramaha Nama Shutaha. Janaihi Shutaha. Spashtamasti va?
Astu.
Samyak. Astu.
Ravina, for the shlokam, do you have a Sanskritam meaning with these words as a sentence?
Anvaya Kramam va?
No, not Anvaya Kramam with our own words. This is fine.
I may not have it in the slide, but let's do it. Try, let's polish it.
I think she means Anuvadam, not Anvayakram.
Anuvadam in Sanskritam.
Yeah, kurmaha. Idanim kurmaha.
Manavaihi Rama.
Rama
ज्ञातः राम ईक्ष्वाकुकुले जातः रामः इति मानवैः प्रसिद्धिं प्राप्तः सः मनोनिग्रहवान् परमवीरः कान्तिमान् धीरः जितेन्द्रियः च
अस्तु अस्तु जनैः or manavaihi. So we have written Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Niyatatma Mahaviryah Dyutiman. Ataha atra Manonigravahan Paramaviraha Kantiman Dhiraha Jitendraha Ikshvaku Kule Jataha Ramaha iti
मानवैः ज्ञातः.
No, I forgot how we started the sentence. How did we start the sentence?
Started with Manavaihi.
So we can't repeat Manavaihi, right? so let's
can't we start from this only? Shvaku Vansha Prabhavaha Ramanama.
We can. Let me just.
Janeh Prasiddhim Praptaha Saha Manonigrahavan Paramviraha Kantiman Dhiraha Jitendriyaha.
Then we make it into two sentences. That's what I did the first time.
Astu. Manavaihi Prasiddham Praptaha Ramaha Ikshvaku Kule Jataha Manonigrahavan Paramaviraha Kantiman Dhiraha Jitendriyaha iti Prasiddhaha Prasiddham iti Nyataha. So we could basically start with either Ramaha. So the typical usage will be ending with the Kriya Padam. So karta, karma, kriya. That is the standard way of phrasing a sentence. So we can attempt to end with the kriya pada. Here, what was the kriya pada that we decided to have?
Shutaha.
No. What did I?
Abhuyat.
Abhuyata. Abhuyata was something that we learned today, right? So abhuyata will be the kriya pada. So when we have the kriya pada, the karma comes first. So janaihi shrutaha, in this case manavaihi nyataha. Kim iti nyataha? So that is when Ramaha. So Rama nama. Then you add all the adjectives to it. So that is one way of doing it. Can you try with this template? So
can you repeat once more, Pravina Guru?
Yeah. So you will start with the karta, the doer. In between, you will have the karma. You will end with the kriya pada. So the visheshana visheshams will be added just prior to whatever it reflects.
Manavaihi Manonigrahavan Paramaviraha Kantiman Dhiraha Jitendriyaha Ishvakukule Jataha Ramaha iti Prasiddhim Praptaha Abhuyat.
Very nice. This is how we do it. Samyak? But when you're writing the Tatparya, you can feel free to break it into multiple sentences if it is required. Only Anvaya should use the same words in same format. With this, you can be more flexible. Even in Anvaya, many times as we learn more, we will observe that the Kriya Pada will be mentioned in a few slokas before or after also. So we might have to combine a few slokas in order to do the Anvaya. So we will be doing those things also as we progress. But so we have to understand which are the slokas to combine, you know, like the previous line might be attached to the earlier sloka. This line might be attached to the next sloka. So we have to combine appropriately in order to figure out the details. Spashtam asti kalu sarvesham?
Yeah, asti.
Yeah.
Samyak. Uttama. We need a lot of practice to, yeah.
Pravina Guru?
Yes.
Pravina Guru, page 21, Sandhi Vichel, 10, fourth, first, second, third, fourth sentence, Adhyatanaha, what is the meaning? Page 21.
Page 21.
Adhyatanaha, yes. Adhyatanaha Karyakramaha Atyuttama. What is it?
Today's Karyakrama. Today's Karyakrama. Adya is today. Today's Karyakrama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adya is today.
Today's.
Adyatana, Puratana.
But I was wondering what is.
Yeah. Hyastana, Puratana. Hyastana Bhojanam Ma Kadatu. Puratana Geetam Shrunotu. So, yesterday's, previous, like that you will use. Okay.
Okay.
Yesterday,
One more word.
Guru,
Page 9.
1 minute. I didn't hear what Lakshmi Bhagini asked me.
For yesterday, what is it? Yestyatana.
Hyastana.
Yeah,
Hyastana.
yeah is yesterday. Hyastana is yesterday.
Hyaha is yesterday usually. Hyastana, that's what is for yesterday's. Puratana, Nutana Shatika, Preetavati. Puratana Vastramasti. All that you use. Yeah.
Okay.
Guru, page 9. Page 9. Also one word I did not understand. Page 9. Fifth abhyasa. Sundaraha Mukh Put Chitram. Meaning of Mukh Put Chitram.
Cover page.
Sundara Mukhaputa Chitram.
9.
Rochate. Cover page. The cover page, the beautiful cover page is liked by me. Mahyam Rochate.
Oh, okay. Cover page. Okay.
I think
Thank
in
you.
this, the two things we did not discuss last time. Yeah, page 22, I was telling that, Tripitakani, Ratnatrayam, those two things. Actually, in Sanskritam, there is something called as a paribhasha. Paribhasha is some, for example, when we are learning mathematics, right? What we do is we use alpha, beta, those kind of languages, the X or the Y, those kind of things we use in different contexts, right? So those are the language pertaining to mathematics. When we come to chemistry, we have some equations, we have a different language that we use. So in Sanskritam, what we use is like the same language, but the words will be different in that context. So we do not change the usage itself, but when that word is used in this context, it will mean different. So when it is used in a different context, it will mean differently. So that is called as the paribhashika padam. For example, guna is there. Now we are learning about guna of Rama. So what we will understand is like, all the auspicious qualities of Bhagavan Sri Rama. But suppose a grammarian or a Vyakarana person looks at the word guna, he will understand the word very, very differently based on Panini's Ashtadhyayi, because guna is used very differently in grammar, in Sanskritam. So once we understand that, okay, these are gunas, these are this, so we will try to understand it very, very differently. So like that, here they have mentioned the word called Ratnatrayam. So Ratnatraya can be the three precious gems. Okay. But in this context, they've given you the Vivaranam saying that it is Samyak Jnanam, Samyak Charityam, Samyak Darshanam. So the moment we see these three things, we know that this is a contextual usage of the word. So this is pertaining to a Jain philosophy where they consider these three as the foundations of the Jain system of understanding. So for example, we will, Sangeeta Vidwans will say Pancharatnam. So Pancharatnam will be the 5 beautiful kirtanas of Tyagaraja. So Navaratnam, the moment we say, we will know that it is Bhojaraja's 9 gems in his palace. The poets in his palace were called as the Navaratna. So these are not really pertaining to the gems, but it is a contextual usage of that. Paribhashika padam iti uchyate. So here the Tripitakani. is the Sutra Pitakam, Vinaya Pitakam, and the Abhidharma Pitakam. This is again a Buddhist usage. So these are the three important buckets or the groupings based on which they understand a lot of their philosophies. So in Buddhism, we usually say, Buddham charanam gacchami, dharmam charanam gacchami, sangam charanam gacchami. So when you speak to a Buddhist, for them, these three will be the Ratnatrayam. When we speak to Jains, it will be the Samyak Jnanam, Samyak Charityam, and the Samyak Darshan. So it is a very, very paribhashika or contextual pada that is used. So that is how you understand these things. All right. So let's move on to Dvitiya Pataha. So we are comfortable with the Pratama Pataha?
Astu.
Samyak. Astu.
Prathama patam abhyasam karoti sma. I'll be able to do well.
Samyak kartum shaknomi aham. Samyak. Astu. Astu. Dvitiya Pataha. Alasyam hi manushyanam sarirasto mahan ripuhu. Ityukte kaha artaha? Alasyam hi ityukte eva iti artaha. Manushyanam sharire stitaha mahashatruhu. Shatruhu ityukte virodhi iti artaha. Mahashatruhu. Samanya shatruhu nasti. Eka brihat shatruhu asti. Kim alasyam. Alasyam means laziness. Alasyam eva manushyanam sharire stitaha mahashatruhu. So laziness is our main internal enemy, which is there right inside our body. We want to do this, we want to do that. Early morning, I have to get up and do this, but then morning comes and we just want to switch off the alarm, right? So alasyam hi manushyanam sharire stitaha, which is residing inside our own body, mahashatruhu iti etad suktihi vadati. Astu. So let's just look at the first exercise here. Vinaya Sheelam, I am on page 24. Chatur Vimshati Tame Pute Asti Aham. Vinaya Sheelam Chatram Sarve Ichanti. Chatram Sarve Ichanti. Chatram, what is the vibhakti? Chatram.
Dvitiya
Vibhakti.
Dvitiya vibhakti.
Dvitiya vibhakti ekavachana rupam. Therefore, Vinaya Sheelam is used. That is also a Dvitiya vibhakti ekavachana rupam. So it matches the vibhakti and vachana. Udhyane unnataha vrikshaha santi. Vrikshaha. How do we understand it?
Prathama vibhakti.
Prathama vibhakti
Bahuvachana rupam.
Bahuvachana.
Pratama vibhakti bahuvachanam. Therefore, we are using unnataha vrikshaha. Now the third one, Shukaha madurani palani kadanti. Madurani palani kadanti. So
Napunsakalingam.
Napunsalingam.
Dvitiya vibhakti.
Bahuvachanam.
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 Uttam.
Bahuvachanam Napunsalingam. And vibhakti is which one? Palani.
Dvitiya.
Madurani.
Dvitiya.
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 Second. Dvitiya.
Naryaha laguna kandukena kridanti. Kandukena.
Tritiya vibhakti.
Dvitiya vibhakti
Tritiya
napunsakalingam.
vibhakti napunsakalingam ekavachanam.
Okay. So, laguna. it is actually
Ukaranta.
it is
Lagu
like Guru
Ukaranta.
Shabda. Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
Guru Shabda.
Lagu,
So
Laguna.
it will be exactly. So it is Ukaranta Napumsakalinga Tritiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. Very nice. So other things you can just try to read. If we have questions, we can discuss later. But you understand the idea behind this, right? So we will go ahead further. So here we have learned this many times. So just as a summary, Yallingam, Yadvachanam, Yacha Vibhakti, Visheshyasya, Tallingam, Tadvachanam, Sa Vibhaktihi, Visheshanasya. Shall we just repeat this once? It's a very, very important thing.
Yeah.
Yallingam,
Yallingam.
Yallingam,
Yadvachanam,
Yadvachanam,
Yacha Vibhaktir Visheshyasya,
Yacha
Vibhaktir
Visheshasya,
Visheshasya
Tallingam, Tadvachanam,
Tallingam, Tadvachanam,
Sa Vibhaktihi,
Sa Vibhaktihi,
Acha Vibhaktihi
Visheshanasya.
Visheshanasya.
Visheshanasyapi.
Very nice. Okay. So for every vibhakti, so it will take the appropriate visheshana visheshya bhavaha. So sapta vibhaktishu api etad samyak jnatavyam asmabhihi. Now what we have to understand here is the same rule applies for the numbers also in Sanskritam. So here number 1 is there, ekam. So ekam in Pullinga it is ekaha, in Strilingam it is eka. So ekaha balakaha asti, ekaha deepaha asti, ekaha ramaha asti, ekam pushpam asti, ekam pushpam asti, eka suchi asti. So depending on eka balika asti. So depending on what we use the number for, the appropriate gender has to be used in numbers. And this rule is valid only for 1 to 4. And number has a lot of things. We will be learning a lot about numbers as we progress. As of now, we will try to understand 1 to 4. Okay. So ekam, ekaha, eka, dve, dvau, dve, त्रीणि, त्रयः, तिस्रः, चत्वारि, चत्वारः, चतस्रः. Renu Bhagini, can you use the statements for 2 with these 3, this one line? Try to use.
Dve pushpe asti.
Staha.
Taha.
That will also be dual, no?
Yes.
Dve
Yes.
pushpe staha.
Mm.
Dvau deepau staha. Dve suche staha.
Deepa, what will be the dual?
Deepau.
So what will the sentence be?
Dvau deepau staha.
Mm.
Dve suche staha.
Suchyau.
No, dve suche.
No, it's Suchi, no? Suchi is.
Suchi, nadi,
Nadi, nadyau, nadyah.
Yaudhyau. Suchyau.
nadyau. Dve nadyau,
Yes.
dve suchau staha.
Okay. So Trini, Sudha Bhagini.
Trini pushpani santi.
Trini pushpani santi.
Trayaha deepaha santi. तिस्रः सूच्यः सन्ति.
अस्तु. सुजाता मन्त्र भगिनी.
चत्वारि पुष्पाणि सन्ति. चत्वारः दीपाः सन्ति. चतस्रः सूच्याः सन्ति.
नद्यः
सूच्यः
सन्ति.
Astu. So what we have to remember is the Sankhya Eka is there only in Ekavachana Rupam. In the sense, you will not have Bahuvachanam or dual in that. Similarly, the Dve will be there only in the Dvivachana Rupam. It will not have Ekavachanam or Bahuvachanam. And from 3 onwards, it is there only in Bahuvachana Rupam. So that will be the uniqueness of the Sankhya.
Nitya Dvivachanantaha, Nitya Bahuvachanantaha.
Satyam. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. So you have 1 mala, 2 malas, multiple malas.
10.
And they've given you some numbers. Can you try to do these sentences? Raji Bhagini, you can start.
Mala eka asti. Male dve staha. Malaha sundaraha santi.
Uttamam, samyak.
Aham.
No, let somebody else try. Anu Bhagini.
Oh, I think all 3 sentences we should have tried Sundara only. Yeah? Mala Sundara asti, Male Sundare staha, like that.
Yeah, actually it should be like that.
Yeah.
Malaha Sundaraha santi.
You all understood the concept. I'm happy, no issues.
Yeah.
So, Anu Bhagini, try this out.
Male Sundare staha.
They've given Malaha, Kalu.
Aham malam krinami.
No, they've given you 1, so try to use.
Aham eka malam.
Ekam
mala. Aham ekam
malam.
Aham ekam malam krinami.
1 minute. What will? No, 1 minute. Hold on. Mala. What is the lingam of mala?
Strilingam.
Strilinga.
So what will be the? So it should be
Eka malam.
Eka. So Eka.
Vivachanam is ekam. I mean, Dvitiya Vibhakti is ekam.
Dve malayo mulyam kim.
I'm not able to do. Dve malayo
mulyam kim.
Okay, let me explain. I think I think the exercise itself is not clear. Here you have the numbers 1, 2, 7, 1, so some words and all that. We are just trying to understand this particular word which is in red, and then use the same Vachanam Vibhakti Rupam for the blank. That's all. Okay. So try to do the second one.
Dve malayoho mulyam kim.
Vayoho malayoho. We have to use the same vibhakti also. Malayoho is 6th vibhakti, so it should be Vayoho.
Saptasu malasu.
Saptasu malasu eka shweta.
Okay. So I will give you an idea of what will help you all do this. You all should practice this a little bit because it's a very new concept for you. But you have the Shabda Rupa for all the Sankhya Shabda. So what you should do basically is, bring these Shabda Rupas. Okay, so it will be something like this. So here you will have the Shabda Rupa for Pullinga, Strilinga, and Napumsakalinga of Eka Shabda. So you can use the Shabda in order to identify what Vibhakti, what Vachana you have to fill in. Okay. So for Dvivachana, for the Dvau, so you will have the appropriate Rupa. So you have to find out, okay, what is the Linga, what is the Vibhakti, and then you have to use the appropriate things. All right. So do you want to have a look at this first? We'll go back to that exercise. Okay. Anu Bhagini?
It's given in our Pravesha book, page 214.
Okay. So have a look at that. Have a look at that. And now we will go back to the exercise. You should be able to do it easier. Now tell me. Aham dash malam krinami. Look at the Shabda of Eka. And now you know what is the Linga of Mala and the Vibhakti of Mala. Tell me what will be the fill in the blank now.
Ekam.
Eka malam.
Eka. Aham eka
malam krinami.
Ekam malam krinami. Everybody understands this? Ekam malam krinami. What is the reason?
Because
malam is
Dvitiya Vibhakti.
Dvitiya Vibhakti.
So Mala is Strilinga, it is Akaranta Strilinga. So you will look at what is the Vibhakti again?
Dvitiya Vibhakti.
Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. So what is the equivalent you will look for?
Ekam.
Dvitiya
Dvitiya Vibhakti of Eka
Shabda. The Strilinga Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam of the Eka Shabda. You will look and you will fill that here. Very nice. Now, similarly, let's try for Malayoho.
Malayoho is Akaranta Strilinga Saptami Shashti Vibhakti.
Shashti
Shashti Vibhakti, what Rupam is that?
Vivachana Rupam.
Vivachana.
Yeah. So, 2 will always be only Dvivachana Rupam. So, where should we go now?
He Shabda Shashti Vibhakti Strilinga Rupam.
And what is that?
Dvayoho.
Dvayoho
Malayoho Mulyam Kim.
Dvayoho Malayoho Mulyam Kim. Very nice. So Sapta.
Malasu.
Saptasu Malasu.
Saptasu.
Saptasu Saptasu. I think it is Saptasu.
Saptasu. Maybe Saptasu.
It has to be Saptasu. Saptasu Malasu.
Malasu.
Eka Shweta.
Eka Shweta.
Eka Shweta.
Saptasu Malasu Eka Shweta. Very nice. Then
Sarvaha Malaha.
Sarvaha Malaha.
Sarvaha Pushpaihi
Gratitaha Santi.
Pitaihi Pushpaihi.
Gratitaha Santi.
can somebody tell the whole sentence again, please?
Sarvaha malaha pitaihi pushpaihi gratitaha santi.
Uttamam. Samyak. So that is how we understand this. Okay. So kaha ekaha, ka eka, kim ekam. So for everything we will have a equivalent in the numbering. Kasya ekasya, kasmin ekasmin, kasyam ekasyam. So that is the way we have to use the numbers also.
Actually, Guru, this is given in our Pravesha book, in the Vibhakti column, this all the charts are given.
Yeah. Pravesha book is like a reference material. You know, the last part is a reference material.
Yes,
it will always be useful for us.
Yes, we need to. We need to read all these.
Okay, let's try this. Eka shabdasya uchita rupena vakyam purayatu. Renu Bhagini. Okay, Sudha Bhagini, go ahead.
Pustakani ekasmin syute sthapayatu. Because it's Saptama Vibhakti.
Correct.
Ekasmin syute sthapayatu. It is Saptami Vibhakti. Ekvachana Rupam. Very nice. Renu Bhagini, want to try the next one?
Balikayaha. It is Balikayaha. Ekasyaha.
Correct.
Ekasyaha balikayaha duravani nashta. Next one. Who wants to try?
Ekena dirghakalam.
Ekena padena.
Ekena padena.
Ekena padena dirghakalam sthatum na shakyate.
Ekena padena dirghakalam sthatum na shakyate.
Nice sentence. Sthatum.
Itopi.
Ekam.
Ekam rotikam swikarotu.
Ekam. Ito api ekam. Ekam rotikam swikarotu. Ekam will be ekam rotikam swikaroti. Swikarotu.
Dash angulya kimapi grahitum na shakyate.
Ekaya angulya
kimapi grahitum na shakyate. Uttamam. Antimam.
Ekasmat vanaraha ekasmat vrikshat anyam vriksham prati plavate.
Can you check what is the Chaturthi Vibhakti? I'm hearing two answers from all of you. Can you confirm Chaturthi Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam of
this is
Vriksha is pulling.
Vibhakti, no?
Panchami Vibhakti. Panchami Vibhakti Pullinga. What is the equivalent of Eka?
Ekasmat. Vanaraha ekasmat vrikshat anyam vriksham prati
plavate. Samyak. Astu. Okay. So let us do the remaining next class, otherwise we'll get too confused. We will just do one nice Subhashitam and wrap up the class. In fact, I was very, very surprised because I was requested by test iPhone. Okay, Rekha Bhagini, that can you please explain Bhajagovindam Stotram? And today, when I was just looking at the second chapter, what all were there, this sloka is actually from Bhagavad Gita. So I was very, very surprised. So I was thinking, if she is present in the session today, we will do this sloka. Otherwise, we will move it off to the next sloka. And she is here. So test iPhone, that's what I was checking. So she is here. So we will go into this particular. Namaste, namaste. So we will do this sloka and wrap up for the day.
Yes.
So this is one of the slokas in Bhajagovindam. It goes like this. Angam khalitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vriddho yati grihitva dandam tadapina munchatyasha pindam. So let us see how this works. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashanam vihinam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vriddha yati गृहीत्वा dandam tadapi na munchati asha pindam. Okay, so angam galitam, here asti iti padam asmabhihi swikaraniyam. Angam galitam, mundam palitam, tundam dashanavihinam jatam, vruddha dandam grihitva yati tadapi asha pindam na munchati. So here the context is Sage Adi Shankara is looking at a lot of people who are having so many desires. You know, one person, age-old person, 80, 85 years old, is attempting to learn the grammar parts of it. You know, so Adi Shankaracharya is like, you know, at this age, when you're beginning to learn what Vyakarana is, when are you going to understand Bhagavan? Should you not, you know, spend the rest of your days which you're counting in a productive way so that this birth itself makes sense for you? So why are you, you should have done this like years back, not at this point of your time. So when we still have some time, we can learn Vyakarana now. But so no, it was about a very old person, while Adi Shankara was only in his 30s and he's already taken sannyasa, right? So he is looking at all these people and he's like flabbergasted. Why are people so attracted to so many things and not focusing on the main thing, which is to repeat Bhagavan's names? Okay, so that is the context. So here Angam is all the different angas, the limbs of the body. Angam galitam, you know, those are really worn out because he's a very, very old person. He's not even able to walk. Mundam palitam, you know, his head, all his hair is now grayed out completely. Okay, so Angam galitam, his body is worn out, his head is completely turned white. Palitam asti. Tundam dashanavihinam jatam, you know, his teeth are not even able to bite. So he's lost his biting capacity, basically saying like, you know, all his teeth have dropped out. Dashanavihitam jatam, he has no teeth in it. Vruddha dandam grihitva yati. So he's not even able to move freely by himself. He's taking a stick even to support his walking. Tathapi asha pindam na munjati. Even then the attachment to all the desires does not seem to leave him. You know, so till the last day of our life, we seem to have all our desires. So here the meaning is Shariram Shushkam Abavat, Shariraha Shweta Kesha Yuktam Abavat, Mukam Danta Rahitam Abavat, Vruddhaha Balahinaha Ataha Dandena Chalati, Tatapi Saha Asham Na Tyajati. Angam Galitam Asti, Mundam Palitam Asti, Tundam Dashana Vihinam Jatam, Vruddhaha Dandam Grihitva Yati, Tatapi Asha Pidam Na Munchati. Tatapi, I think should be there. Tatapi Asha Pidanam Na Munchati iti artaha. So let us recite this once. Anyone wants to repeat after me? Can do.
I'll repeat. Go.
Okay. Angam galitam.
Angam galitam.
Palitam mundam.
Palitam mundam.
Dashana vihinam.
Dashana vihinam.
Jatam tundam.
Jatam tundam.
Angam galitam palitam mundam.
Angam galitam palitam mundam.
Dashana vihinam.
Dashana vihinam.
Jatam tundam.
Jatam tundam.
Dashana-vihinam jatam tundam.
Dashana-vihinam jatam tundam.
Vriddho yati.
Vriddho yati.
Grihitva dandam.
Grihitva dandam.
Vriddho yati grihitva dandam.
Vriddho yati grihitva dandam.
Tadapi na munchatyasha pindam.
Tadapi namunchat
Yasha pindam. Tadapi na munchatyasha pindam.
Tadapi namunchat pindam.
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam,
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam,
Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate.
Govindam bhaja mudamate
Samprapte san
samprapte san
Vihite Kale
Vihite kale,
Nahi Nahi Rakshati
nahi
nahi
rakshati,
rakshati
Dukrinkarane
Dukrim karane,
Nahi Nahi Rakshati
nahi
rakshati
rakshati,
Dukrinkarane
Dukrim
karane
Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam
bhaja
Bhaja
govindam
Govindam,
bhaja
Bhaja
govindam
Govindam,
Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
govindam
Govindam
bhaja
Bhaja
mudamate
Mudamate.
Samprapte san
samprapte san
Samprapte san
Nihite Kale
nihite kale
Nahi Nahi Rakshati
nahi nahi rakshati
Dukrinkarane.
karane.
So here, the starting was actually this. Bhaja Govindam. Govindam Bhajatu. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. He is telling as if he's telling his mind. So there was actually this person learning Vyakarana. Adi Shankara Acharya is going near him. And then he says, Muda Mate, the mind, which is so Muda, as if he's telling himself, Mate, hey Muda, so please recite Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhajatum, Samprapte san nihite kale, when your time, end time comes, Nahi Nahi Rakshati, it's this is not going to help. What is not going to help? Dukring Karane. The Damaru Shabda of Paramashiva, when he bet his Damaru, there are different sounds that was coming from it, right? So those sounds were observed by Panini Maharishi, and he wrote what we call as the Maheshwara Sutra, which comes like I unruluk eon ayauch hayavarat hal, all those sutras. That expansion of that is the Vyakarana of Samskrita as we understand today. So Dukring Karane means the sounds that were observed by the Damaru Shabda of Paramashiva when he was dancing, that gave us the Vyakarana. So he's trying to imply that, these Vyakaranas are not going to help. So what is going to help? Govinda, Govinda, only reciting Govinda Nama is going to help. So this is the subsequent sloka which speaks about, everybody is, they've lost their teeth, their limbs are not working, their hair is grayed out, then they have to walk with support in hand, but still the desires are not leaving them. So it's an extension of that, right? Astu. So that brings us to the end of the session. So we will meet again.
And the next shloka also, Bhaja Govinda.
We have 5 slokas, Bhagini. So in between, periodically, maybe we will do 1 or 2 slokas. So there are on the whole 13, including what his Sishyas wrote. But what Adi Shankara wrote, that itself is 5 slokas.
Dhanyavada,
Yeah.
Guru.
Yeah. So we will try to do a few things so that we can, try to understand.
Just send them so it will be easier to learn for us.
Yeah. So we will go through them possibly one at a time. Whenever we get some time like this, we will go through 1 or 2 slokas of them. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavada. In fact, incidentally, Rekha ji asked, and it was there in today's topic. So I was like, wow, so that's interesting. So lovely. Okay, so we will conclude with our concluding sloka. Kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yat yat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami achyutaya namaha anantaya namaha govindaya namaha achyutaya namaha anantaya namaha govindaya namaha achyutaya namaha anantaya namaha govindaya namaha. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Shri Krishna.